Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Let's Talk About Data show. I wish everybody a happy new year as well. What better way to spend 2026 on your first working day than watching a Let's Talk About Data show? I think it's a great way of starting into the new year. And you've got the A team here as well. You've got two of the regular show hosts. You've got myself, Tony Mullen, and I will let Ibrahim introduce himself.
Thanks, Tony, and Happy New Year, everyone. Ibrahim Amara here. As Tony mentioned, one of your regular hosts. And yeah, it's a good start of the year.
Yes, and good topics as well.
Exactly. How was your holidays, by the way, Tony?
Oh, awesome. Yeah, I had a very good break. Lots of relaxing. Ate a bit too much. I've got to get into the new year and get some of those New Year's resolutions, which I will break straight away. But yeah, it was brilliant. Just lots of resting, seeing family.
Nice.
Yeah,
Did
it was
you
great.
receive
How
any
about
special
yourself?
gifts? It is
It was
nice,
good.
nice break.
Yeah.
And this is what my daughter gave me, actually, stress ball.
Oh, right. I mean, that's obviously your daughter pointing out you're a little bit too stressed.
Yeah, she told me, yeah, Dad, you're spending too much time in front of the screen and the laptop. Then you need this. I was like,
Yeah,
yeah,
relax.
she's right.
We do spend. I mean, I spend so much time behind the screen. I used to do a lot of gaming back in the day as well.
Yeah,
I don't do nowhere near as much gaming now. I like to get
I
out,
don't
and
have time for that.
I'm just getting old now. I like to get out and have a walk and get some fresh air.
Exactly.
Too much gaming and too much screen time of work is just it's so tough, isn't it? So. I mean, do let us know where you're tuning in from as well. Let us know how your new year went. Let us know what the weather's like where you're at as well, because I mean, in Manchester, it's like -6 this morning. It was mega cold. I was like, what is this? This shouldn't be happening, but we seem to be
Yeah,
getting opposite ends, really, really cold and really, really hot now. So it's very strange.
yeah,
How are you in London?
similar here in London as well. It's like
Yeah.
it's not the same, but maybe like -2, -4, and it was snowing as well. So
Yeah, I don't
yeah,
remember it this cold. This is because like it's really icy cold. It's really slippy when you're
yeah,
out, so it's not good. So let's have a look at some of the people. We've got Lydia today. Lydia's here for our chat support today. So anything we can't answer or any links we'll be sharing, Lydia will be popping them into the chat. And we've got our producer online as well, Jeff, today. So good to see you. He's had a good Christmas as well. So here he edits as well. One of our kind of regulars. Happy New Year! Happy New Year to you too. And my life, my entire life is in front of a screen. It's kind of the way we go now, isn't it? And also, you've got these little things as well. You know, the old mobiles. If you're
yeah.
not in front of a like a big. I mean, I've got like a 45-inch monitor. If I'm not in front of that, I'm in front of my little mobile screen or the TV. So, yeah.
Oh, nice.
It's
Yeah, even even the one of the gifts that I got for my birthday, it was an e-reader, so it's still another screen.
yeah.
It's more comfortable for
They're a
the
bit nice
eyes.
though on the eyes, aren't they? Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, but
I've
still,
used one of them.
yeah,
I do like on a book though, I must admit. I'm not like I would say an avid reader. I don't read a lot. I tend to read when I go on holiday, but I do like a physical book and reading for that.
yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah, that's always good. So and we got someone here saying, can they see our comments? Yeah, we can see your comments
Yes,
as you
we
put
can
them
see
in.
that.
So please do put them in. And this is a live show. We like it if people ask us questions or just tell us how your day's going, and we can add them to the screen and we'll talk as we're going. I mean, talking about what we've got for the show today, we've got quite two real big topics, to be fair, and we've got lots of demos for it. So we're going to be covering some of the database innovations from reInvent. So, there was quite a lot in reInvent this year. Lots of AI, lots of exciting announcements. One thing we're going to be covering is storage, extra storage volumes for RDS Oracle, which was really, really great announcement, and I will show you that in action. And we've also got Global Database. Are you going to be doing that for Postgres, Ibrahim?
Yeah, for Postgres.
Yeah.
So Blue-green deployment with global databases. And
which
see
is
that in action.
We'll see that in action. Yeah, and we've got. So I will answer this before we crack on as well.
Yeah.
Is it bad to go for more certifications? I would say no. Go for it. I mean to push certifications, especially if you're a student. No, I would say it's a great way to learn certifications. The combination of certifications and actually hands-on and working, I think is a great way of just keeping yourself up to date and learning. And also the certifications are kind of a marker to show that you've at least done the bare minimum with that product to get the certification. So I would you agree, Ibrahim? I mean, I
totally agree. I totally agree, and especially that if you're not decided yet which part you want to focus on, which area of the technology that you want to continue pursuing. So maybe exploring the different certificates will give you an idea. Okay, maybe that's the most exciting part that I want to continue maybe the upcoming couple of years working with. So that's a good approach as well.
Yeah, and a lot of them you get the hands-on as well now, don't you?
Yeah.
As part of certification is, when you're learning, you will do the hands-on with the courses. Depends which products you're using. I mean, our skill builder products have it, but there is third-party training tools out there, and they all tend to have kind of some form of aspects of hands-on, which is great.
Exactly. And with the with the free accounts as well from AWS, you can definitely, the free tier, I mean, you can definitely apply what you're learning, and then you have some hands-on experience as well.
Yeah, definitely. Cool. Let's start off with storage volumes then. So storage volumes, the extra storage volumes for RDS Oracle, and it is for SQL Server as well. Today we're going to be covering RDS Oracle, mainly because my background's Oracle. Do Oracle and Postgres, so more familiar for me to show you RDS Oracle. But the concepts are the same. Now, I will share this up on the screen just very quickly. We don't do slides on here, but I think a picture says 1,000 words. It just makes it look really easy. So with an RDS instance, pre the extra storage volumes, you would just have the one volume. So as we got there, the IO2 default volume. With this new capability, you can add up to an additional 3 volumes to the host. So in total, you will have 4 volumes. So that will give you up to 265 terabytes of storage. And the key thing one as well is you can also have this mixed storage types. So a mixture of IO2, GP3, there are the 2 options you can have for your extra storage volumes. And this is great for if you want. So archiving is a great use case example for it. You've got all your storage on IO2. IO2 is more expensive storage than GP3. You may have some data what still needs to stay inside a database, which is used infrequently. That's a great use case to put on GP3. You also may just have other table spaces, other data requirements what don't quite meet that fast storage. Again, this is where it's useful. You've also got temporary storage as well. You maybe want to, I'll just bring this off screen for now. You've also got temporary storage as well. You may just want to do some moving around of data and you need additional space in the database. In the past, what you'd have to do is expand your default storage volume, which you then can't shrink back down. So this is, you can then do that extra space in the additional storage areas and then remove them afterwards, which is the key one. So
then get to that point, Tony, because I remember I had similar discussion with customers before this feature was GA was available, especially as you mentioned, if you need some temporary storage that when you are migrating your database. So if you are doing an import, data pump import, for example, then you need the storage to host the dump file before importing it into the database. And we usually would be facing an issue like that if the dump file, for example, is like 20 terabytes in size. So provisioning 20 terabytes additional storage just to store the dump file. And then after that, the problem is there is no option to shrink the storage. So you imported the dump file, you deleted the dump file, but still the storage is still there and you are paying for it.
You're paying for it. And that's the problem, especially if you're using IO2 as well. You're using high
just
storage in your
imagine.
database. It's it's an
Exactly.
expensive kind of extra to have there. And like you say now, you can drop them off afterwards. And we'll see that through the tests I've got today. We'll do some creating new table spaces, creating table spaces across multiple volumes, moving data around. If you, for instance, you've got data in one of your default tables, what default areas, which keeps growing, and maybe it doesn't need to be in a higher tier storage. It might be some form of audit, what you have in your application. Again, you could put that out on lower tier storage and move that table online. So, and we'll show some of that. We've got some hands-on as we go through today. So I think we'll be very demo focused today with what we're doing. I think you've got quite a few demos with what you're doing, haven't you, Ibrahim?
Yeah.
I'm just looking at the time now. I want to kind of leave as much time as we can for the demos. So I'm gonna first share my screen. Actually, one thing I did want to do, which I've not shared as well with you yet, is our community pages. So let me just quickly get that up. So our Let's Talk About Data show, we've been going for 4 seasons now. So we have, other episodes we've done. This is season 4, the first episode of it. What we do at the end of each show is we'll do a show notes, and this page is kind of our collection of all our show notes together. So, and we've kind of make it look a bit nicer. It was we transitioned from one platform to another. It looks a bit nicer now and a bit easier to navigate around. And what you can do is you can just go in here and click through the show notes. You'll get the previous show. You also get a catch up as well, catch up video, and you'll also get all the links we've shared as well for the show. So straight after this show, I'll be uploading the show we've just done, and you can go and watch on catch up. You also get our next upcoming shows as well. So again, this landing page is a good place for you to just hit. So just wanted to quickly share that, and we'll share that link in the chat as well. But let's get going anyway. Let's get that stuff out of the way and let's see some of this stuff in action. So, okay. So first thing, let's have a look at what it looks like actually adding a storage volume to a database. So we have a database here, and I'll show you quickly how to do it via the console, and then I'll show you from the command line how we'll do it as well. So we have this database. What you can do is you go to the configuration tab, and then you'll navigate down, and what you can see is this option for additional storage volumes. Now, you will only see that if your database meets the requirements, which is, first of all, it needs to be over 200 gig in size, your primary volume, your initial volume. Plus, you need to have 64 gig of RAM free as well. If you don't have those, you won't see this, and you won't be able to add additional storage volumes. So that's something you need to be aware of. Once you have that, what you can do is you can start adding your additional storage volumes. So via the console or via command line, you can add 1 at a time, or you can add all 4 if you want, like this, and you can change the different storage types and the different provisioned IOPS and also the different sizes. The minimum size is 200 gig. So again, you need to be mindful of that from a storage size perspective. So I'm not going to click go on that. I'll show you what it looks like from the command line. So let me just quickly, I have an EC2 machine here, which I've just got as like a jump machine where I can connect to my database. So let me just quickly add a instance via the API. So let me just quickly show you what that looks like. So what we're doing is we're adding a new additional storage volume to the My19C DB install. And then you get all the feedback of all the parameters of the database. So if we go back to this database now, do a quick refresh on here. And what we should see is we can see this pending creation. It takes about 5 minutes to create it. We'll loop back and take a look at that in a bit, and we'll remove it as well just to show you in action. But the
main... just one more thing, Tony,
Yeah,
as you
sure.
mentioned, the benefits of having something like that. If you scroll down to the storage being added, so
Yep.
as you can see here, there also you can have control over the number of provisioned IOPS and
Yep.
the storage throughput, and that might be helpful if you want to have or spread your table spaces, and as you mentioned, across different desks or different storage volumes, and each one of them will have separate throughput. So the total throughput that you'll be getting is higher than having one storage volume.
And IOPS as well. This is a good database to show it on as well, actually. So if we go to our 19C source here, and we can see we have configurations. We go up to the top. There we go. There we go. And you can see we've got 4 storage volumes here. Let's just say the provisioned IOPS really, I think, comes in the best bit for it comes in for GP3. So GP3 at 200 gig, you get 12,000 IOPS and 500 megabits per second included in the price. So, for instance, if you had this and just created a 400 gig volume on one volume, you would only still have the 12,000 IOPS and the same throughput. If you split it between the two here, you get the base IOPS and throughput. So like Ibrahim said, it's a good way of potentially spreading your table spaces out, or potentially even have a table space with multiple files inside of that, or a partition table, multiple ways of baking it. It's a neat way of making the most out of kind of what you can get for the storage from straight off the bat. And you can see the individual metrics as well per volume once they're added. So I think if you go into monitoring, and I think you can see the IOPS in here per volume, if I remember rightly. Yep, there we go. So what you'll see is, which I think is really neat, you can see the individual IOPS per volume. So again, it's a nice way if you are monitoring your workload over time. And maybe you might have a hot volume where you could go, well, let's look to move some of the data out of that and push it to another volume, is something you could do as well. With some of the techniques I will show you now today. So we've got these 4 volumes on this database pre-created. I pre-created them just because it would be sat around waiting 5-10 minutes potentially for these to create. You can see they're not in use. This is the mode they go in when they're not being used, which means you can detach these if you wanted to. You can remove them. So if there's nothing in them, no table spaces or no files, from a data file perspective, you can remove those. So let's firstly create some data. So I've created a little alias just to connect to the database, just to make my life easy, and you don't sit watching me typing away. So I'm also going to I've got a space check script as well, where we can just see our default table spaces in the system. These are just default straight out of the box, all living inside of the RDS data. And you'll see, this is what you'll see as we add new table spaces. So let's just say in this demo here, I'm just going to create 4 table spaces very quickly. And we'll create them in different table spaces in different data areas. So the way you manage it is using the db create file desks. This will give you Oracle managed files under there. So what we're first doing is creating one in the RDS DB data. Now what we'll do is we'll just create a 2, 3, and 4 in the corresponding RDS DB data. So what you can see is we create DB file desk, create table space 2, change it to RDS DB data 3, testing 3, change it to RDS DB data 4 and testing 4. And then what we should see is 4 new table spaces, and all living on different volumes now. So regarding what we spoke about before, I'll show you quickly how you can create a table space with multiple data files across the different volumes. So we're just going to create a table space called data test, and we've created one file in the first RDS DB data area. Now I'll just go and create another 4 of those across, another 3 of those across the other RDS DB data. So if we just do a quick space check again, what we should see is we should see our data test, and we have that data test table space now going across 4 volumes. So you would probably, if you did that data test like that, you'd probably want to make sure those volumes are of the same size and the same IOPS. I think if you were going down that route of doing that, I think the more probably familiar way of doing it is going to be creating individual table spaces across multiple different volumes. I think is probably what we're gonna see with customers doing it. And I think this is the next use case we're going to do now of actually moving data around is, again, probably what we're going to see customers doing. You know, they'll have data in an existing table space on the main data area, and they'll want to move some data around. So we'll just simulate a test for that. So again, we'll create a new table space, just called test data. And I've got a little script. I'll just quickly show you what that is. It just creates some test data. So just so we can have some data to move around, create some tables, some indexes, some sample data. And then what we're going to do is we're going to move that data around. So let me just quickly run that script. Oh, that's not the one. So what we've done is we've created those indexes. We've got those tables, 3 tables. We've got a multitude of index across those tables, which we can see built there. So what we want to do in this test scenario we're just going to move all of those objects into a new table space in a different data area. So if we have a look, all those objects at the moment live in test data, which is in RDS DB data. So in this test, what we're going to simulate is just moving those objects into a new table space online. So what we'll do is we'll create a new table space in our RDS DB data 2 volume area. And then what we'll do is we'll just use a little script to generate the commands for us. So all we're doing is generating the commands for any objects what live in that test data table space. And so tables and indexes, and they're the objects we're going to move across. So we'll just quickly run that script. Table objects take a little bit longer to move, as you would imagine. Also, it would also depend on the size of your indexes for rebuild. You could rebuild them in parallel as well if you wanted to. It's probably worth mentioning as well, these are enterprise features we're doing here. There is standard edition 2 for RDS as well, which you can have the extra volumes on, but you wouldn't be able to do what we're doing here with
you remember that moving tables online is a new thing. You remember before
12C, weren't it? I think, yeah. Before that, you
used to have the online redefinition package, and you had to do all this setup and everything,
and rebuild the indexes afterwards. It's a really, I mean, and this is an Oracle feature. It's not an RDS feature. This is just pure Oracle capabilities. You know, so the adding additional volumes is an RDS thing. These are Oracle capabilities, being able to just move tables around. And it's really neat when you think about just what you can do online. And the likelihood of moving all tables out of a table space is pretty unlikely. You would more likely move the data file, which I will show you in a bit, which you can do. You can move the data file of a table space into another area. So if you wanted to move everything out of the table space, you'd probably do it via just moving the data file. If you want to actually just move individual tables, it's more likely that, for instance, your department table may be huge or infrequently used data, but it's massive in size, and you want to get it out of that IO2 because you don't want to add more space to it. You could move it over into a GP3 volume is more likely, I would say, what we'll probably see use cases of people using it. So we'll quickly just take a look now just to verify those tables have moved across. Also, what we want to see as well is we want to see nothing in the test data table space. So there should be nothing in there. And a great way of testing that, testing that there isn't anything in there. If you did want to go and clear down that table space, Oracle won't let you drop a table space. It will say, no, you can't do it. And that's where you'd have to add including data files and contents. But, this is a good indication that all the data we created, has been moved successfully and, now lives in test data too. So another great use case. So that's kind of moving data around. Another use case, what Ibrahim touched on before, is kind of using the directory capabilities inside of Oracle. So what we'll do here is we'll create a new data pump directory in RDS DB data 2. Now, all I'm going to do for this is I'm not doing exports and imports. I'm just going to do a very quick export. So I will show you that we can do a very quick export to that data pump directory 2, so RDS DB data 2. And what we'll be able to see is, let me just quickly list those files. Yep. So if we do, you can see those files are now listed. And let me just do a quick list on the export. That's the export log. So you can see those tables, those objects we've just created are now exported as well. What I will show you quickly as well, where I can just toggle out, is we should see these now should all just go, well, if I do a refresh, they should all now be active. So now we've created all of those objects in there. You can see that they've now all become active. So I will do a quick clean down now of the environment. So again, just let me list those files. I'm just going to quickly remove those 2 files from that directory just so we can clear that directory down. And then I'm going to drop that directory. So we've cleared that directory down. That'll suit us for when we need to drop stuff. One thing I will quickly show as well, I did mention it before, is I will show you that you can just move a data file as well. So you can see that we've got this testing data 1 I created, lives in RDS DB data. So actually what we want to do for this is we want to get it moved over into RDS DB data 2, and we want everything moved from it. So you won't necessarily really want to go moving tables around like we did before. There is a RDBMS package which can help out to do that. So if we just execute this command, and what that will do is that will move that data file to RDS DB data 2. So if we do the space check again, what you should be able to see now is 6 is now living in RDS DB data 2. So that's now moved out of the RDS DB data volume area. So I'm just going to quickly tidy up all of my table spaces. There we go. So if we do a quick space check, so we're back to as we was before. I'm going to show you, this will take, you'll see these will remain active in probably a couple of minutes. We'll toggle back to that and we'll be able to see that they should be switched to inactive. So, well, not in use is the mode. So as we'll see here, I'm just going to show you how you can remove this volume, what we created earlier. So you can go through here, click delete and do it. More likely, most people will do it infrastructure as code or via the API. So I'll quickly just show you how you do it via the API. So if we just exit out of here and do apply immediately for that. So what we're doing is we're modifying our instance and we are removing the additional storage volume, RDS DB data 2, and we're applying immediately that. Again, you'll get the output. And what we should be able to see is that go into a deleting mode. And what will happen as well, once it's deleted, is your database will take a backup as well. You'll probably see that as and when if you add a volume or delete a volume, your database goes into a backup mode. So it'll go delete in here and then it will go into backup. So let's just quickly see if these have gone into inactive. The joys of doing a live demo, they're probably still active, but let's see. You never know. Hey, there we go. Not in use.
Not in use.
So, and it does flick pretty quickly to not in use. So at this point, again, we could go removing these volumes and tidy them up. So I'm not going to do that for now. But as you can see, really flexible.
Yeah, even while we are doing the deletion as well, we are doing a check whether those volumes are really empty or not. Because if they are not, we will not continue with the deletion of the volumes.
And I had one before where I removed all the table spaces when I was testing, and I had a log file left in one of the directories. Even though I dropped the directory, you look like you're dropping it in the database. The file is still there, really, from RDS perspective, and it's living on that RDS DB data 2 where we created it. So again, you need to go back in, tidy up those files, and then you obviously then can remove the kind of volume. And that you're only really going to see that, I think, if you're attaching directories and you're doing things like exports, or you can even, with RDS, you can put a file to those volumes as well. You can use UTL file, can't you, to remove just files on and off, and so you've got quite a bit of flexibility there. And you can use things like S3 as well to bring files into the database on those volumes. So
exactly, there's a good thing about it,
isn't it?
Yeah, the flexibility. It opens the door for different combinations.
And it's easy to do. Is the one for me. It's super easy. Yeah,
exactly. If you start thinking about the different options that you have, or the facilities there, and using the Oracle database, as you mentioned, native options that you have, along with the RDS extra storage or additional storage volumes, I think it's a good addition. And
it's really
you've been and in the past we had several discussions with our customers where they were looking for something like that, especially for customers with massive databases, and the ability to tier the storage, as you mentioned. That's all amazing, to be honest.
Yeah, really nice. It is really. I really like it, and I like the capabilities of it as well. The way it's been implemented by the engineering team, it works really well. Simple to use. The metrics are great. You can see exactly what's going on those volumes, individual volumes. It's a really nice addition to RDS Oracle. Yeah,
totally agree.
So let's, I guess, see if we've got any questions on this. No, so we've got no questions on that. So we've got Crazy DBA, nice break. Yeah, everyone's having nice breaks. That's what we like. And we see Jeff shared some of the links as well. So do take a look at those links. I know there's some blogs coming out on storage volumes as well. They'll be coming out soon. I'll share some of the commands I did in our show notes as well, just so people can kind of, if they want to try them out themselves, they can try them out, if they're testing. What I'd recommend to anyone is, if they're going to be doing some moving around of their data, is, use the capabilities, create a snapshot of your database and do all your changes and everything you're going to test, everything you're going to do. That's the beauty of it. You can do it using a snapshot and then move forward. I would just always recommend people to do that. Don't just go diving in and doing it in your database. Do it through your test environments. And even once you've done it through your test environments, I'd always still recommend take a copy of your production database and test that way. You'll get a better idea of timing and capabilities. So
yeah, that's always a good choice, a wise one. And just a reminder, it's also available for SQL Server. So as of now, it's for RDS Oracle and SQL Server.
Yeah. Cool. So let's move on to our next topic, which is global database blue-green deployments.
Yeah, exactly. So we most probably you are familiar with the Aurora as a a native, cloud-native relational database engine, which is being offered by Amazon within the AWS cloud. And Aurora we have two variants of Aurora. We have the Postgres compatible and we have the MySQL compatible as well. It's fully compatible with each one of them. And the Aurora, it's when you are saving your data or storing your data into an Aurora cluster, they will be stored as 6 copies in 3 different availability zones by default. You're only paying for 1 copy, but by default they are striped or being stored across 3 different availability zones. And for Aurora as well, you can have 1 writer node or a 1 writer instance and up to 15 reader nodes. So those reader nodes can serve 2 purposes. The first one, they can serve the read-only traffic for your application. They also will serve as a failover target. So if anything is happening to your primary writer node, then automatically we will fail over to one of the reader nodes. And that, as I mentioned, happens automatically, maintaining the endpoint of the cluster, so you don't need to change the endpoint or the connection string from the application side. So this is from the Aurora perspective. And then we have another capability for the Aurora, which is the global database. So especially for those customers with having distributed workloads across different regions, and they want their customers to be served from specific or multiple regions for maybe data latency or the connection latency purpose or something like that. So for this, we have the global database. In Aurora Global Database, we will create an identical copy of your Aurora cluster, and it will be available in another region. And the replication between the primary region and the other regions will happen at the storage level. So that's why you will see the latency is very minimal when it comes to the replication. It's asynchronous replication, by the way. And the replication, as I was saying, the latency is very minimal. And you can have up to 10 global database or 10 other regions where you are provisioning the Aurora clusters, your Aurora clusters. So 1 primary region and 10 other global clusters or global database. So as I mentioned, you don't have to do anything for it. We'll see that in a minute. You don't need to do anything from your side. You don't have to do the entire setup. It's all, you can easily provision the global database, and then the Aurora itself will take care of the replication. So what we are announcing, all of that, it's just something that we already have for years now. But what we are announcing, or what we have announced a month ago, is that having the blue-green deployment for the global database, Aurora Global Databases. So as you know, the concept of the blue-green deployment is having, if you want to implement some change, then you want to test them first in a different environment. So you have the blue environment, which is your production environment, and then you have the green environment. It's an identical copy of the production environment, and then you start doing those changes in that environment, and then you test what's the impact of those changes. Usually those changes will vary from upgrading the database version or creating an index, doing some maintenance tasks. And you want to see what will happen if you do this, what's the impact on the application. So the blue-green deployment is being implemented using the logical replication, native logical replication of the engine itself. So for our Postgres, for example, we are using Postgres logical replication for implementing it. So when you are combining this with the Aurora Global Database, you will have an identical copy of your global database that spreads across multiple regions. and that identical copy is being maintained from the primary or the blue environment. So if, for example, if you have a global database running in London and US East one, North Virginia, or something like that, so you will have another copy of that entire global database, and then you can go there, do the change that you want to do, and check the impact of these changes, and then decide if you are okay with these changes. You can initiate a switch over, and in this case, we are going to update the endpoints of the cluster so that the green cluster would now be the blue one or the primary one, and maintaining the old endpoint of the old blue or the old production cluster. And again, you don't need to do anything from application perspective. You're still able to connect using the same cluster
That's the beauty,
endpoint.
isn't it? No changes.
Exactly,
from that perspective.
exactly. Because it's a nightmare, especially if you have multiple connections and multiple integration points, and you need to update the connection string across different layers. So that's the good thing about it. Let
It's
me
great for
share my
upgrades, isn't it? It can really bring your upgrade speed down. You know,
that.
the time for
Yeah,
that. Yeah.
especially for the major version upgrades.
Yeah.
Usually, it will take maybe like 30 minutes, an hour, something like that of downtime. But just imagine if you can just create a green deployment or a
Yeah.
green environment with that new version, and all the downtime needed is just a switch over time,
Yeah.
which is, by the way, just maybe in a minute or so.
Mhm.
Sometimes even less than that.
I mean, if you stuck a proxy in front of it, it would even be kind of, it
Yeah,
wouldn't even feel like a downtime. It'd feel like a blip, wouldn't it? I would
exactly,
imagine. So
exactly.
yeah.
So let me just share my screen,
Yeah,
and
see it in action.
yeah, and just before um for that, let me show you. This is the diagram of the solution itself.
Can you
So as you
zoom in
can
on
see,
that a bit?
okay,
Is
let
it
me
zoom?
do
Does it let you zoom?
this.
Yeah, that's much better. Yeah. Yeah, that's
All right.
brilliant.
Okay, so as you can see here, this is the primary region for the Aurora cluster. We have a writer node and two reader nodes, for example, here. And then this is the secondary region where the secondary cluster is running. And as
Mhm.
you can see, there's an asynchronous replication that's happening. This is at the storage layer. This is not related to the engine. It's Aurora thing, and it happens at the storage layer of the Aurora cluster itself. And then you create the green deployment or the blue-green deployment. This is the green environment down there, where, as you can see, identical copy of the primary or the blue environment there. And then the replication is happening using the logical replication to synchronize the data from the primary to the green environment. And then once you are ready, you do the switch over, and then the green environment will be the new blue environment or the new production, as we mentioned, maintaining the endpoint. So let's see this in the
Yep.
console. It might be a bit confusing, to be honest, as you can see here. So I will start showing you. This is the simple version of it. So this is a cluster, a AUPG demo 2 cluster. It has two instances, one writer node and one reader node. And then this cluster is part of it's part of a global cluster or a global database. So the global database here is it's called AUBG Global Demo 2. And then we have the standby cluster in another region. As you can see here, the first region for the primary cluster is EU West one, and the secondary cluster is in US East one. So in order to create a global database, it's not actually we're not going to cover this here, but it's as simple as from the cluster page, you just in action you add a global or add another region to the cluster. And once you have done that, it will create the standby cluster in a different region. As simple as that. Okay, so now we have the cluster spreading across 2 different regions. In order to create a blue-green deployment, you just need to go there from the global database, itself, and then from the actions, you do create a blue-green deployment. When you're doing that, you just provide a name for the blue-green deployment, and then here, this is the version of the green environment. So if you are testing the upgrade, then what you need to do is to choose a different version for the new cluster or the green environment that you are creating. So for example, for this, my cluster is 16.9, and I can choose either the same current version. If I'm testing something else, as we mentioned, maybe you're just testing creation and new index in your environment, something like that, or a different other maintenance operations that you want to do in the green environment. Or you are testing the upgrade. So in this case, you are selecting the upgrade, the version of the new cluster, and then just similar to what you're doing when you are upgrading your Aurora cluster. If you have a custom parameter group, you have to specify a custom parameter group for that new cluster or that upgraded cluster. Why we are using custom parameter group? Because as we mentioned, the blue-green deployment is dependent on the logical replication of the engine itself. And in order to enable logical replication, you have to edit the custom parameter group, or you have to attach a custom parameter group to the cluster and edit the parameter of the RDS replication.
Quick question on that, Abram. Do you have to pre-create those parameter groups, or so blue-green won't do it for you, will it? So like if you had, so you see, if you had a parameter group with a load of default settings you have for your application,
you can copy them.
Yeah, you just need to go and create a new parameter group, wouldn't you?
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. But yeah, this is basically because you definitely will start with a custom parameter group because you need to enable the logical replication.
Yeah, and most customers use it's very unlikely using default parameter groups. Yeah,
exactly. Even if they are not changing the parameters from the default one, they are still using the custom parameter groups.
Yeah,
because one of the important things, because when you are attaching the parameter group for the first time, the custom parameter group to the database for the first time, you will have to restart or reboot the instance so that that attachment will take effect. So once you have done that, so you will see here, this is the diagram of the blue-green deployment that will be.
That's nice, like that. Is that new? It's nice. I've seen that before.
I think it has. I think it has been there for a while, but I think it's it gives you a good idea about what you would be expecting and the layout of the different resources in which regions. Especially, you know what? When I was working on testing that, it's a bit confusing having cluster in one region and other reader nodes in a different region, and then having blue-green deployment on top of that. So that's really good. Yeah, just imagine doing all of that manually, because the blue-green deployment or the blue-green concept itself, it's there. It has been there for a while.
It's using logical replication on the covers, like you say. Yeah,
exactly. It's not an Aurora thing or an AWS concept. It has been there, and many of the companies are implementing it, especially when they are moving between the different versions of the application, stuff like that. So, but just imagine trying to maintain all of that manually.
It's hard work, isn't it?
It is. So all of this is the configuration details and an estimated monthly cost as well for the green database. And then you hit the create button.
And you wouldn't, and really, you really wouldn't want to be leaving it there for a long period of time anyway, would you? So the way I'd see this is, if you were going to be doing this, you'd want to pre-create it maybe the day before,
Yes,
And then your outage time is just the period time it takes to switch over. So,
exactly.
yeah.
Yeah. So here you will see the details, that the actions that are being implemented in order to complete the blue-green deployment, and it of course based on the size of the cluster itself, and that might take longer time to be implemented. For the
Mhm.
sake of the time, I've already done that. As you can see, this is another cluster, a global database.
And you got your blue-green. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. One in the EU West one, the other one in the US East one. And let me just.
And you got your green. It does make it is reasonably easier to see now. You've got the blue and
Yeah,
the green very clear.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And as you can see, it's an identical copy of the entire thing. So
Yeah.
you have everything there. So that's a good thing about it. And as you can see from there, you can see the status as well of the, and you can see the replication lag. It's right now 70 milliseconds lag. And then you can see this is the environment status, the read replica creation, all the actions have been done already. And then if you want to do the switchover, what will happen when the switchover will take place, and we will see that in a moment.
Mhm.
And then yeah, I think that was the one before, I believe, the standard one. And then the visual one could be the new one. And then also you can see from the connectivity, you can see the different where is, yeah, this is the connections security groups for the attached to the cluster. And if you select each one of them, then you can start connecting to that cluster.
Mhm.
So you connect to the green environment. In this case, the action is already been taken. The automatically the cluster has been upgraded. So this one, let me just quickly see if I can get. Yeah, as you can see, this one is already 17.7,
Mhm.
and the blue one was, if I select this one, the blue one was 16.9. So the major version upgrade already is done now.
Mhm.
And what you can do is maybe you can connect read only to that cluster, and then start uh, pointing your application to it, just to navigate through the pages of the application. Everything is working fine. There's no obvious problems or issues like that. And then you're happy with this. And the next step is to switch over. So switching over is as easy as you do from action, switch over. And from there, it will also show you what will happen when you are doing the switch over. This is the version will be changed. The and as we mentioned, it would rename the the green cluster, so it will match the old blue one or the old primary, so that you don't need to change anything from the application. And then we have the timeout setting. Timeout setting means that if the time for the switchover exceeds that duration, then it will cancel the switchover. So if you have a tight window and you just only allow maybe 10 minutes to do the activity, then you can set this duration based on that, and it will automatically cancel the operation of the switchover.
Mhm.
So once you do the switchover, it takes, as I mentioned, maybe a minute or something like that, and then you will end up having something similar to this. This one, uh, yeah, this one is the completed switchover. So as you can see, after you have done this one, the old primary will be named, or the suffix -old will be added to it. So that's the old, or the old blue one. And then the new blue, or the one that used to be green deployment, will be the new uh, blue, or the new primary cluster
It's
actually.
nice how it changes the color as well. Now you've got
Yeah,
the black color and also the old, because I mean, really, what you want to be doing now is clearing down that old one from a cost
exactly.
perspective. Move
Exactly.
yourself over, remove it. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. So this is the the beauty of it, having the ability to do all of that through the console using just few clicks, and you don't need to maintain anything. And I think if we go back again to the where is the upgrade? Yeah,
Switch
you
over,
see, yeah, this is the one. It's still being switching over. As I mentioned, it takes like a minute or so, and yeah, as you can see, it started to be available right now, and most of the nodes are available right now. So that's
there we
it.
go. Switch
Switch
over
over
complete.
complete.
Magic.
So yeah, it's pretty cool. Yeah, I really like it. It might be a bit confusing when you have all these nodes, but
Yeah.
that's the beauty of it, having the.
I think anyone who's managed those sort of things, kind of setting them up yourself and managing them yourself, you do appreciate things like
Definitely.
multi-AZ. I mean, a global database in itself, like you talked about at the start, is
Yeah.
it's amazing. The capabilities what are there. I think it's anyone who's managed databases for years, like certainly we have. You really you really like this is good stuff, because it means you can go and focus off on kind of that more added value for your organization, instead of working out how do you need to do this, because this is complex work.
Yeah, exactly. And most of the time, there's no added value, to be honest. To be
No, there
honest.
isn't. No, there isn't. All you're doing is you're going up the versions. You're doing it for compliance. You're getting up the
Yeah,
versions. Sometimes as you go up versions, you do get some nice additions to the versions, but really it doesn't add massive value to the
the
organization
process.
from
I mean, the process
basis.
itself of the upgrade, it's almost the same every time. So doing it over and over, yeah, it's
Yes, there goes
no
it.
added value in that. Yeah.
Just looking at the time, we've got a couple of minutes left, so let's have a look what we've got in the chat before we just wrap up. So I can see Jeff's and Lydia's been sticking some links in, which is great. Thanks. And we've got somebody asking about transitioning into AWS and need your guidance and mentorship. I would say, I mean, if you are transitioning out, here we go. So Lydia's posted something, just exactly what I was going to say. Skill Builder is a great starting point. It really is. To get yourself going, and use if you're not already on LinkedIn, use LinkedIn. Connect out to people. There's mentorship programs out there. There's lots of ways getting yourself going, but I think getting some hands on is always a great way to get yourself started. Cool. Well, I think we need to wrap up, because it's gone super quick. That I really enjoyed that. It was a great show. I hope everybody else enjoyed it. We'll be here again next week. So same time. So 12th of January is when we're back. It's the same time as always. So it's Monday, 5 p.m. CET, 8 a.m. Pacific time, and 11 a.m. Eastern time. And we're on Twitch TV/AWS, and also YouTube AWS events. We've also got access to our email. If you do ever want to drop us an email, one of the guys will share it on the screen. And again, go visit our community pages for our past shows. We will be updating this show on that community page, and you'll be able to get us on catch up as well. So hope to see you next week. And, as always, chat away on the show. And Ibrahim, great show. Always great to do a show with you.
Same here. Thanks, Tony. Thanks a lot.
Cheers, everyone.
See
See you
you.
now. Bye.
Bye-bye.